Hello everyone and welcome back to the Noob Selling Options channel. Today we are diving deep into a geopolitical chess move that is shaking the entire global economy. The United States has just played a card that puts two of its biggest rivals, Iran and China, in a serious jam. And it all boils down to one critical number: 50%. Just let that sink in for a second. That's how much of China's energy, the very lifeblood of its massive economy, flows through one single narrow strip of water. A waterway that the US has just decided to blockade. This one number, it explains everything about why the stakes here are just astronomically high. So what exactly just happened? Well, in a move that ramped up tensions from simmering to boiling, the US Navy has started a full-on blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. And the timing here is absolutely crucial. This happened the minute that high-stakes ceasefire talks between the US and Iran and Islamabad just completely collapsed. Diplomacy is off the table, and raw military pressure is now the name of the game. And you know, it's pretty stunning how fast this all went down. First, Iran makes a power play, effectively closing the strait by slapping a massive $2 million toll on any ship that wants to pass. Then those marathon 21-hour talks fall apart over Iran's nuclear program. Right after that, bam, President Trump orders the blockade. And now, Iran's Revolutionary Guards are promising a forceful response. I mean, you're watching an escalation ladder in real time.
Okay, so this wasn't some random off-the-cuff decision. Not at all. There is a very clear and, you could say, very risky strategy behind this. So what is the U.S. actually trying to achieve with this gambit?
Well, you don't have to guess. The justification comes straight from the top. President Trump framed Iran's tolls not just as a tactic, but as, and I'm quoting here, world extortion. So the stated goal is pretty simple: turn off the money pipeline that funds Iran's military and its grip on this vital waterway. You know, this blockade is really a multi-tool. It's designed to hit several targets at once. You've got forcing Iran back to the nuclear negotiating table, you've got directly challenging their control of the straits, and then there's the big one: economic strangulation, just cutting off their main source of cash from oil sales. It's a massive lever being pulled to try and break a long-running diplomatic stalemate. But here's where the story gets really interesting. This whole situation isn't just about Washington versus Tehran. The blockade is also a two-for-one deal, designed to put maximum pressure on another world power: China. And right now, Beijing is caught right in the crossfire. Remember that 50% figure we started with? This is why it is so critical. Over half the energy that keeps China's factories humming and its cities lit passes through this one single choke point. So for them, a disruption here isn't just a political headache, it's a direct threat to their entire economic stability. And this puts Beijing on an impossibly sharp tightrope. On one side, they have to secure that flow of energy. It is absolutely non-negotiable for their economy. But on the other side, the very last thing they want is a direct military showdown with the US Navy. They are truly, as they say, stuck between a rock and a hard place. So publicly, China is trying to play it very cool. They're calling for de-escalation, putting out statements warning that the US risks creating an uncontrollable situation. They even went so far as to join Russia in vetoing a UN resolution to reopen the straits, arguing that a ceasefire has to come first. They're trying to look like a neutral party, even though economically they have the most to lose here. Which leads us, of course, to the central question of this whole affair. Is this a brilliant strategic masterstroke by the United States, or is it a massively reckless gamble that could blow up in everyone's face? Let's break down both sides. Okay, so the US is betting this will work for a couple of key reasons. First, it directly attacks the so-called shadow trade. That's the unofficial sale of cheap, discounted Iranian oil that helps Iran stay afloat and gives China a great deal. Second, a blocked strait means global oil prices are going to spike. And who does that hurt the most? A manufacturing-heavy economy like China's. The US is counting on that economic pain to force Beijing to lean on Tehran to just fold. But, and this is a huge but, this strategy could easily backfire. I mean, spectacularly. For one, publicly caving to American military pressure would be a major loss of face for President Xi, and that is just not going to happen. In fact, instead of pressuring Iran, China might actually help them find ways around the blockade. And here's the most dangerous part. If the US makes it okay to blockade a vital waterway to get what it wants, what's to stop China from using that exact same logic to justify a blockade of, say, the Taiwan Strait in the future? So, given these immense risks for literally everyone involved, what is the most likely way out of this? Well, it's probably not going to be a dramatic public showdown or some clear-cut victory. No, the real action is going to happen quietly, behind the scenes. So here's what China's playbook probably looks like. First, they will do everything in their power to avoid any kind of public surrender. Instead, they're going to use aggressive, private, back-channel diplomacy directly with Tehran. And their goal won't be to force Iran to give up its entire nuclear program. Not at all. It will be much simpler. Convince Tehran to drop the transit tolls, the very thing that triggered this U.S. blockade in the first place. The real objective is to de-escalate this immediate crisis and get the oil flowing again, all while letting everyone involved save face.
So we are left right here with this one massive question. Is the Hormuz blockade a successful hardball power play that's going to achieve its goals, or has it just set a dangerous new precedent, basically normalizing the idea of weaponizing the world's most critical trade arteries? The answer to that is going to define international politics for years. That's our breakdown for today. Hey, if you found this valuable, please just take a second to hit that like button. It really, really helps the channel and gets this information out to more people. Thanks for watching.